To experience the pathway to confident solo aging and grand aging, combine legacy and mentoring. For the story of aging, in other words, we have agers from a sense of being together with others. We would call out those who are solo agers. I'm one, someone who is without direct family around me. I am making my decisions about how to live my life, living solo. Then there are grand agers. Another term would be grandparents. And another one would be companion agers. In other words, there is someone there who is with you, a significant other, married, for example. Now, as a solo ager, welcome. I'm Dr. Stephen Hobbs. I'm with the Wealth Movement. I wanted to share with you some of the ideas that I'm bringing forth to be able to help those who are aging and to do so confidently, in particular, solo agers and grand agers as well. And I believe that they're a pairing that could have a lot of fun together, combining legacy and mentoring. The dash that is between these terms, younger, older, elder, is another way in which to chat about aging, because there is a sense of you're younger, at some point you decide you're an older, at another point the community gives you the title of elder. So from an aging perspective, there are these dashes. Now, an interesting way of looking at the dash is also between your birth year and your transition year. And as I frequently say, is as one who's aging, I want to add as many dashes into that space between my birth year and my transition year. Rather than just leaving it as one dash, I'm going to add as many as I can, and I encourage you to do the same thing. Now, in this presentation, I wanted to be able to bring forth two combining elements, legacy and mentoring. And I want to share with you how to get to that point. But this would be as the sort of the end point. So having the end in mind, thank you, Stephen Covey, to bring forth the legacy with mentoring and mentoring as legacy. You would make a decision here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to sort out the use of these words, this wordle, as I would call it, and how do they fit together in such a way as to get to the point of understanding this notion of experiencing aging as a solo ager, grand ager, working with these words so that you bring forth this sense of combining legacy and mentoring. The starting point is to bring this diagram to the foreground. Now, this is one of the central diagrams that I use in this framework. Now, I put it together as a way in which to help me explain and describe. And I'm going to encourage you to say, oh, I could use this, or I'll edit it. I'll add, alter, delete. Whatever way works for you, that's great. But this diagram, this model is here for you to interact with, and I'm going to do it in the following way. So, from this solo aging, grand aging point of view, and to do it confidently, one of the elements that's really important is felt safety. Now, we sometimes sort of gloss over that or just pass by that quickly. But in my research in my own life, I had to come to understand, am I feeling safe in what it is that I'm doing? Have I set up safe systems? Do I have safer practices? And when I've asked solo agers and grand agers, a lot of solo agers might say, well, I really haven't thought about that. I'm just going about my life. Grand agers will chat about it a little bit more because they're thinking about their interactions with the grandkids. So it's there. But I would encourage you to heighten, to really leverage this sense of felt safety, the the safe systems and the safer practices, and bringing them into the foreground. And what you're doing is you're saying, okay, that's great. I'm going to bring them into this interaction between evidence, experience, and education. And then what you're going to do is say, okay, how does that link to wealth movement? Now, the term wealth spelled a little differently here. I get that. Wealth here is about well being and well living to the nth degree. So it's a sense of the experiences that you're going to have. Are they going to be about well being and well living? Is there movement associated with it, from the physical aspect to what does what we're doing lead to, the movement of the activities, the programs you're involved with, or if you are a business owner or you have a career and you want to keep advancing it, keep moving it, to the point of what movement am I interacting with from a social cultural point of view? That has value as well. So the idea here is, how do we bring all of this together so that we can understand from a solo aging, grand aging perspective, and doing it confidently and making sure there's felt safety and that there's this interaction between evidence, experience, and education to get this notion, this idea of wealth movement interacting with you. Then a great place to start is another diagram model, ABC. And what it's about is, and I'm going to have a little fun time here. It's A is B is B, C is C, as in what do I see? So to be, so that I can see it, I need to figure out what's the ABCs that go with this. And what I'm doing is bringing forth another metaphor is that if you're A, you're at this end of the bridge. The B is the bridge to get over to C. Now, when you're at A, you can sort of see C, but it may not be clear and fully outlined. But you've got a sense, okay, the bridge to get there, there's certain things I've got to do to get to that C. So it's a beginning of a model diagram that we can use. So if we put it together with the other one, then we have it laying itself out in this format. Now, what becomes interesting here is that from an evidence point of view, evidence being of all the memories and knowledge and skills and documents and photographs and videos, whatever might be available to you, you have collected evidence over the years to this point in time. And in that is a story of legacy that you can bring forward into your experiences. Now, the other aspect is mentoring as a form of education, of which there are 12 education approaches. Mentoring is one of the easiest ones in a sense, but not easy in the sense of, okay, I can just go out and do it. Easy in the sense is that it actually leans into how you go about living your life already around the notion of questions and answers. So, if this approach of moving forward to C is really about combining legacy and mentoring, then what's available to you is this legacy mastery and mentoring now. These are two programs. What would they lead to? Well, legacy with mentoring, and you might decide on a legacy contribution, project, stories, and you're going to use mentoring. Or you could decide, I think I will use mentoring and connect it in a story, a contribution, a project, calling it my legacy. And therefore, how do these two come together? Well, that's really the story that is going to unfold as you get involved as a younger, older elder with the wealth movement, and especially on this YouTube channel, Younger, Older, Elder. And so here's my suggestion to get started. And it's based on this evidence education experience model that I've shared with you. So, first, gather and curate all of your collateral. In other words, your pictures, your memories, your stories, your videos, whatever it is that you have, because from it, you're going to draw ideas to dream and design your legacy projects, stories, and contributions. Your legacy is going to be connected to that evidence, where your history, where it is that you've come from, as you say to yourself, what is it that I want to experience? And therefore, from an education point of view, you want to review and select what would be your primary and secondary education approaches. And with those, you'll develop and deliver your legacy contributions and stories. As you look at the experiences that you want to have, you're going to be strategizing and managing the activities and actions you'll take to deliver and determine the effectiveness of your legacy project and stories. So you're going to be taking evidence, education, and experience and weaving them together so that you can move in, so that you can clarify, contribute, and communicate from the understanding and the valuing of aging confidently, and being sure you understand the felt safety, the safe systems, and safer practices that are required by you, for you, with you, to leverage these three E's, so that what happens is, as you go into motion, moving forward, you can communicate, collaborate, and co-create from a wealth, a well-being, well-living perspectives. And the movement that you'll take will be profitable. And it's not necessarily about money, it's also about ideas and relationships and the sustainability of that movement in ways in which to bring life, to enliven the evidence, education, and experience that's now called legacy. Now, remember, one of the education approaches you can use is mentoring. And therefore, we have this legacy mastery program you can get involved with, and the Mentoring Now program that you can get involved with. And you can do one before the other, or you can combine them and do the two of them together. And there's lots of ways in which to do it, from one to workshops, individual elements, to a course over an extended amount of time. You could do it in a group cohort kind of approach, where there's a group of you come together and you may want to learn. Remember, I said earlier, there may be a really interesting connection between solo agers and grand agers. I've always said to myself, wouldn't it be fabulous, because I'm not a grandparent, wouldn't it be fabulous if I could become an adjunct grandparent, and thus, as a solo ager, interacting with the grand agers, bringing what it is that I know to the foreground? And that's why I have my own legacy project that I am working with, called Awareness from Forest, or the short form is Awareness. And you'll learn more about that as time goes by. So, with that, I encourage you to think through what's possible here. If you want to listen again to the video, great. If not, jump in and get this evidence, education, and experience ideas, insights sorted out in your own head, heart, and hands. Look forward to sharing more with you. Take care. Check out these videos and playlists as well. And please and thank you. Take care.